C'est la monnaie de la France. C'est de la monnaie de la France-Afrique. 14 pays africains et la France y compris. Donc je suis dans le trésor public français. C'est tout à fait logique que vous preniez cette monnaie. Parce qu'elle est gérée et fabriquée par vous. Elle est gérée et fabriquée par vous. Elle va de pair avec l'euro. Il y a écrit 480. C'est vous qui avez la garantie de convertibilité de cette monnaie. Pourquoi? C'est une décision unilatérale venant de vous-même. Que je la fasse valoir devant un tribunal. Voilà, une monnaie fabriquée par vous que vous reconnaissez, c'est le trésor public français, et vous refusez de prendre cette monnaie alors que je viens payer l'amende de M. Patrice Bessac, maire de Montreuil, avec cette monnaie. Donc vous me condamnez, vous voulez que je paye Patrice Bessac, je vous apporte votre monnaie fabriquée par vous, gérée par vous, donc vous avez la garantie de convertibilité et vous refusez. Vous voyez le raisonnement illogique de votre part, impérialiste et colonial. Donc vous fabriquez une monnaie, vous imposez une monnaie et vous refusez vous de la prendre. C'est votre devise. Surtout vous la reconnaissez. Elle est gérée par le trésor public français. Il y a le compte des opérations où réside cette monnaie. Comment vous refusez de la prendre? C'est illogique comme comportement.
Si c'est bon pour l'Afrique.
C'est illogique comme comportement. Je suis dans une institution publique française, les trésors publics français qui gèrent cette monnaie, qui fabriquent cette monnaie. Monsieur, c'est illogique ce que vous faites.
En fait, en fonction des coûts qu'il y aura sur la banque va nous envoyer...
Vous êtes dans l'obligation de prendre cette monnaie. Vous êtes dans l'obligation de la prendre. Donc vous refusez catégoriquement, alors que c'est votre obligation de la prendre. Vous avez la garantie de convertibilité que vous chantez au pays africain.
La banque, elle débloque le compte. Soit, en fait,
la qualité du billet est véritable.
Vous demandez un délai pour le reste si elle ne prélève pas toute la somme.
Elle est véritable. Non, c'est la Banque de France qui la garde, qui la fabrique. Vous pouvez la remettre à la Banque de France. Mais vous êtes le trésor public français, c'est votre monnaie, monsieur. C'est vous qui la fabriquez, qui la gérez. Il y a chez vous de compte des opérations où réside cette monnaie, d'où vous logez cette monnaie. Vous êtes dans l'obligation de la prendre. Voilà moi le comportement illogique de vous autres. Voilà ce comportement illogique que nous déplorons. La monnaie fabriquée par vous, vous me condamnez avec Patrice Bessac, je viens payer avec la monnaie du CFA et vous refusez. Voilà le comportement illogique de la nation française et de l'État français. Ça c'est vraiment inacceptable. Une monnaie fabriquée par vous, gérée par votre institution et dans le trésor public français, vous refusez de prendre cette monnaie. Alors attends, pourquoi imposer cette monnaie à l'Afrique? Pourquoi vous l'imposez aux États africains? Alors qu'elle est fabriquée par vous, gérée par vous, votre monnaie porte le nom de la France. La France, ce n'est pas une identité africaine, c'est une identité française. La Banque de France qui la fabrique, c'est la banque, qui n'est pas une banque africaine. Le trésor public français, d'où réside le compte des opérations où on met cette monnaie, c'est le français. Mais je suis dans le trésor public. À combien la plus forte raison pour refuser cette monnaie? Illogique comme comportement. Orgueil étatique.
Mais
irrespect.
Les Africains ont faim.
Ça relève simplement de la mauvaise foi, de votre volonté de détruire systématiquement l'Afrique et son peuple. Cette monnaie vous appartient et vous êtes dans l'obligation. Je reviendrai ici avec la convocation de Patrice Bessac, maire de Montreuil, toujours avec le franc CFA. Vous allez prendre cette monnaie pour toutes ces condamnations, je ne le paierai pas. Je paye la condamnation uniquement en franc CFA parce que c'est votre monnaie et c'est le trésor public français. C'est ça le comportement logique.
Ou espèce? Espèce, c'est même pas normal. Puisque moi, je parle de prendre la drogue.
Jugez de vous-même et mesurez de vous-même. Les trésors publics français, je suis ici centre des finances publiques. Les trésors publics français qui fabriquent cette monnaie. Dans le trésor public français repose ce qu'on appelle le compte des opérations, d'où les pays africains déposent leur argent. Et je viens au trésor public français, on refuse de prendre cette monnaie, sous prétexte qu'on ne peut pas vérifier la qualité des billets, sous prétexte qu'on ne peut pas le convertir et l'échanger à la Banque de France. Alors que c'est la France qui a la garantie de convertibilité de cette monnaie, assure la garantie de convertibilité de cette monnaie. Et c'est la France même, c'est la Banque de France même qui garde cette monnaie, c'est la Banque de France même qui fabrique cette monnaie. Et cette monnaie, il est écrit franc. Le franc n'est pas une identité africaine. Et je suis ici au Trésor public français pour payer la condamnation de 1 euro. Rappelez-vous, j'ai été condamné pour verser 1 euro à Patrice Bessac, le maire de Montreuil. Et avec mon bon vouloir, alors que le combat pour lequel j'ai mené, pour lequel je me suis exprimé contre Patrice Bessac était un combat noble d'un enfant qui a été violé, mais j'ai accepté quand même de venir payer la condamnation ici au centre des finances publiques. Et vous avez vu le directeur du centre des finances publiques qui a refusé de prendre la monnaie du franc CFA, mais disant qu'il ne peut même pas avoir la garantie que la Banque de France va échanger cette monnaie, alors que la France assure et assume la garantie de convertibilité de cette monnaie, alors que la Banque de France fabrique cette monnaie. Et ça, c'est le trésor public. Je dis bien, le trésor public, vous voyez de vous-même. Hein, le ministère qui dépend du ministère de Finances et des Économies. Voilà le comportement illogique de la France. Voilà, cet acte et cette action est grandiloquente. Cette action est grandiloquente par elle-même pour vous faire comprendre dans quel système monétaire et financier nous vivons. Pour vous faire comprendre combien est-ce que l'humiliation qui s'abat sur notre peuple et notre mère patrie d'Afrique ne pourra prendre fin. Alors c'est un acte de courage. C'est par des actes posés avec détermination et courage en masse que nous allons faire tomber les barrières. Nous allons faire tomber cette, si vous voulez, à la fois domination, à la fois servitude, à la fois cette imposition monétaire du franc CFA. Unité, dignité, courage, ces actes continuent. Ça, c'est l'acte numéro 2. Et l'acte numéro 3, vous verrez bien évidemment qu'est-ce que nous ferons. Unité, dignité, courage.
Le franc CFA n'a plus sa place au Burkina Faso, au Mali, ni au Niger. Félicitations au capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta et Tiani qui ont réussi à changer la monnaie de leur pays. Une nouvelle monnaie sous le nom de Sahel vient de remplacer le franc CFA au Burkina Faso, au Mali et au Niger. Vous devez à présent noter qu'un Sahel aura la même valeur qu'un euro, c'est-à-dire un Sahel sera égal à 650 poussières en franc CFA. Les trois baobabs de l'Afrique, dont Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta et Abdul Rahman Tiani, ont fini par atteindre leur objectif qui était de changer le franc CFA en Sahel. Si tu es vraiment africain et que tu aimes l'action des trois baobabs de l'Afrique, ne quitte pas cette vidéo sans écrire vive l'Afrique en commentaire. N'oublie pas de t'abonner. Je te rappelle de mettre dans cette vidéo en favori car tu en auras vraiment besoin. Partage cette vidéo maximum si tu veux vraiment le bien-être de l'Afrique.
Glory, with the Ambazonia, the Saloyati, Lady Sona Savior, Ugan, Asafrita, and Lady to the Ubodela, Ujabla, glory, glory, right another form. Yeah, in the nation, glory, glory. Glory to the Father for making Asia is on forevermore. Ambazonia, and the feet. Shall bless me? I choose a starting. That's the bush, the most of the endorsement of the nation.
Wow. If you're asking my personal opinion, to keep Cameroon one must be divisible. Because it's a cliche that Cameroon is one and indivisible, because it's not true. Culturally, we are divisible. Language-wise, we are divisible. The law-wise, we have inherited that. So anybody who says Cameroon is one and indivisible is a fallacy. And so we would have to handle that issue very squarely and objectively. And that's what I call the truth. The truth must prevail. There is no doubt that there are people of both sides, that cherish their heritage. And the only way of keeping Cameroon together is to respect the respective heritages that we do have.
Fellow Ambazonians, good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the globe. I hope we all are doing well. This is the Logistic Chief of the ADF. Today I come out to give an analysis of the continuous attempt by the actual root cause of our problems, not only in Ambazonia, but in Africa. When I say the root cause of the black race globally, our problems, our predicament is France. We suffer in Ambazonia because of France. We have seen the pains that not only Ambazonia suffers, but the entire black race has suffered in the hands of the French, right from Haiti across Africa. Their abuse and disregard for our lives as a race of people and as Africans. We are in the 21st century and we still see the stupidity of the French. You know, there is something that's deeply rooted in the psyche of the French people, France in particular. The element of this paternalistic tendency that they have on the black race has to come to an end. I don't know personally who made the French people, who gave them that paternalistic, space or position on our people. I have to say this. We have seen it repeatedly, even till of late, when this young guy in the name of Macron, first of all, tries to lecture us on birthright issues, tries to tell us what we need to do as a people, tells us that we should be thankful for their abuse, their insult, their disregard for black life globally. And he is so bold and daring to tell African nations that are kicking them out of their land after hundreds of years of exploitation that they should be thankful for what France has done. My people, my fellow country people, fellow Ambazonians, there are things at times that we talk about because Ambazonia we're not living in a silo. We live in a world that geopolitics determines our fate as a people. The question I want to ask every Ambazonian is this: show me anywhere in the world where the French has developed and they are thankful for the French people. I will wait. I say this because I have to go deep into analyzing a very beautiful write-up that I see being placed in I think it should be on Ambazonia News Briefs. A very beautiful write-up. My outing today will be specifically on that write-up. And I also want us to continue to understand. If you don't understand what your disease is, you will not understand its cure. France has been a disease, not only to Ambazonia, to the black race globally. I said it spans from Haiti through the colonization. They tried this bullshit in the Far East and they were beaten down, hands down, in the Indochina region, disgraced and humiliated, and they ran there, tucked their tails and disappeared and never went there again in the Far East. All over the world, in the islands, and specifically in Africa, they have been leeching off from the black race. They have been a cancer to the black race. In every twist and turn that you look, you will see how evil and vile the nation France has been not only to Ambazonia, but to the entire black race. Haiti had to fight France in 3 successions to stop them from maintaining the enslavement of Haitians. And what was the cost for that? France had to hold Haiti, connive with these other racist supremacist forces globally. They had to punish Haiti, and they held Haiti hostage to pay reparations for breaking away from to be a free state. They held Haiti to pay reparations for fighting for their own freedom, to pay monies worth over $30 billion. It took Haiti till the mid-19th centuries or 20th centuries to complete. It's not up to 100, up to 50 years that they completed the payment for breaking away from their slave master. Because Haiti beat the brakes out of France in 3 successions. Moving from that, you have seen the French using us. We fought and defeated. We were part of the coalition that defeated the Nazis. The black fighters from Africa were part of the fighting forces that defeated the Nazis and led their way into Paris. But guess what? On the march to Paris, they pulled out all the black fighters, African fighters, and pushed in those who marched in Paris for the Liberation March, were French people who had very little to nothing to deal with the fighting during the Second World War. We have sacrificed as a race of people. They have used us and sacrificed our blood, our ancestors, for their freedoms. In the First World War and during the Second World War, the black fighters were the ones who led the charge into Paris. But during the Liberation Day, they pulled out and kept aside the black fighters, the black soldiers who fought to free France, and marched the white ones into Paris. Secondly, they used some of the black nations to contain other nations that are fighting for their own freedom. Case in point, Madagascar. They used Moroccans and other fighters from within the African continent to quell down the rebellion in Madagascar for their interests. They had to beat the living bricks out of France. On France, they had already colonized Algeria and Morocco. They were owning it as their personal property. Look, you are dealing with a nation where their psyche, I don't know, specifically the black race, is so evil that we have to call evil for what it is. Imagine, I think it's in Togo, during the independence era, when they said we're not going to sign the cooperation accord, they call it the Accord Cooperation or Cooperation Accord, that still enslaved them economically to France. What did they do? They destroyed everything in Togo, even to pipes. They poured concrete, killed all the animals that they were supposed to leave behind. After having used you to exploit your own people, take resources from your own land to build France. Colonization was a form of slavery, the exploitation of the black race to enrich Europe. Let's call it the way it is. No sugarcoating. They were exploiting our resources in the continent to build Europe. After France had done that, when they were agitating that our people were agitating that they wanted freedom, they still wanted to continue to exploit us. They gave us the sham independence that we all can see laying openly in our eyes. Our economy is not in our hands. The lands that we walk on is not ours. The resources under the ground that we walk on is not ours. That's how evil and vicious the French are. In our neighboring country, like the Republic of Cameroon, they have never ever apologized for the genocide that they perpetrated on the Bamili case. Never. 600,000 to 800,000 Bamileke people were killed by the French. And we sit and they are doing hush hush on this business. That is the evil that lurks across Africa. When you see nations like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger fighting for the heart and soul of their land, you can understand. And they don't want to leave. Why? They claim that they brought in glory. Terrorism in those areas have gone down, subsided. They are doing for themselves. Senegal has kicked them out because the seed for terrorism and instability in Africa are all these military bases that we find in Africa. That is a seed. That is a nucleus of destabilization in Africa. All the foreign military bases that we have in Africa. Where do we have any African foreign military base out of Africa? In Europe. You tell me. Where do we have any foreign African military base out of Africa? I will wait. And I ask myself this question. Though it's coming out, we are seeing that US aid was one of the driving factors of promoting or sponsoring Boko Haram. The question I kept on asking myself is, how comes a small terrorist group has the capability of buying new pickups, land cruisers, heavy weapons, more than the nation surrounding them? How does it go in and they are landlocked? Because the seed of terrorism has always been those military bases, all these military attaches we have across Africa. When you see African leaders who are charting the pathway for their nations, technically kicking out all these military bases, they know exactly what they are doing. I want to give Mali the props and kudo for championing the real Pan-Africanism in Africa. And you see it springing out from West Africa. They stood their ground. They fought. Burkina Faso and Niger joined. And you see them having one flag, one passport now. That is where we call the rebirth of real African Pan-Africanism. Now, just throwing this light aside on what the cancer, I call France as the cancer of the black race, not only Ambazonia, the black race. What they have been doing. I want to show something to our people. We have to stop this perpetual self-inflicted wound on our culture and our people's psyche. As a group of people, as a race of people, we have to stop this. We live in the 21st century, except that we have to continue to be stupid and continue to hand down this stupidity. I think this is a generation, not only within Ambazonia, but across Africa, that we have to put the buck has to stop now. We cannot continue to allow ourselves to be abused and insulted and degraded. We are a participant to our own insult because we self-inflict wound on ourselves that has been for perpetuity. I would like to show this to our people. This is an article that I found well written on Ambazonia News Briefs. This article, I would like to talk more about this article. Fellow Ambazonians, what you see here, I want to make it very clear. What you see here is a continuation of the insult of our people. We cannot continue in this manner. We cannot. As a race of people, this is not something we have to continue to promote. I would say that this is a typical example of you rewarding your oppressor, your abuser. Someone continues to abuse you, denigrate you, insult you, misuse you, and all you do is to continue to reward your abuser. We have to stop this nonsense. What you see in front of me, I call it the desecration of our culture and a double insult that we cannot continue. We don't have the luxury to continue this abuse. No. Ambazonians, it's high time we stop this. This is not something we have to continue to do. Let me read this text, this application. I want to read this so that we see it, and I want us to dive into this. I want us to take some time and go over this. It's very important that let's talk about this. We can't continue in this light to abuse ourselves and continue to maintain the abuse of our people. Okay. As you can see, okay, I've fixed it. This, my people, what you see here is the desecration of our culture, the continuous erosion of our culture as a people. These are a set of people that have abused us for too long, and we continue to reward them by continuously desecrating our culture. You are rewarding your oppressor with the best part of your culture that he finds no value in it, and he uses it to make a mockery of you people. This has been going on for too long, centuries upon centuries, where you take the very fine, how to call it, you take the very fine part, the best part of your culture, your cherished part, you sell it out to your abuser. He wears it and makes a mockery of it and makes fun of it and laugh at you. Let me go through this article, very good article on Amber Newsline. I want to discuss about this article. I want us to look at it and I want to analyze this article. The article reads, French Trojan horse arrives in Bamenda. This is the French ambassador. What is he doing in Bamenda? All what they are trying to do is to create a normalization phase for the continuous abuse and oppression of our people. France has nothing to offer to the black race, has nothing to offer to us, has nothing but a bunch of thieves, leeches, and a cancer to the black race. We have to call it the way it is. Let me give you one good example. Fellow Ambazonians, if you know what actually happened in Ivory Coast, because Laurent Gbagbo was going against their programming of exploiting Ivory Coast, what the French did was they did everything possible, used the French military to attack Laurent Gbagbo and took him out. Till today, they had nothing on him. They took him to the ICC to charge him on crimes or whatever, and they had nothing on him. Guess what? When they ended up releasing Laurent Gbagbo, let me say this: the deal they made with Alassane Ouattara is this: he was supposed to pay 2 to 3 times the amount of French interest that was lost during that era, and paid it was also about reparation. And Ivory Coast was bound to pay all that and pay the French. And you know how they took out the Gbagbo? They stormed, the French military stormed the presidential palace. Tell me, how do you claim independence and sovereignty when you have a foreign force in your own nation that has the capability to storm your presidential palace to take your president out? So when you see our valiant fighters, revolutionaries in Africa kicking out the French forces, kicking out foreign forces in that land, is because of some of these abuses that's been going on for too long. Gbagbo was removed by the French forces in Ivory Coast. I'm sorry, Laurent Gbagbo. And Alassane Ouattara had to pay for becoming their stooge by paying them hundreds of millions of US dollars. Paying France and the French businesses, exploiting and sucking up everything in Africa. Case in point, Ambazonians, let me say something. Do you know that cement would have been a competitive market in Cameroon, but because the French stopped it, we are suffering even in construction because of the hands of France. Their exploitative tendencies. They ban or prevent any other competitor from coming into our land to compete with us. Dangote Cement had to come to terms with the cement camp by not being competitive so that they can maintain the cement camp business also. Because Dangote was coming to that land to sell cement at a cheaper rate. But because of the arm twisting by this leech in the name of France, he had to up his prices sorrowfully for us so as to be able to sell. That is how vicious these people in the name of France are to our people. Now, he comes to Bamenda because he's coming to figure out how to continue the normalization process. And let me follow up this article that comes from Amber News. Look at, he wears our regalia, an insult to our people, an insult to the grassland culture, and he sits there and thinks and behaves as if it is one of us. People, let me tell you this. There was a time when foreigners or white people come and they do something that we are doing and we are happy and say, oh, they are doing this thing, then we feel important or we feel good about ourselves that, oh, if a white person can do this same thing that we are doing or can wear the clothes that we are wearing, or then we are better. We have that feeling of, how to call it, self-inflicted we call it lack of self-worth, lack of validation. That's why we can easily just sell out our most cherished culture to people who don't even have any value or respect for your culture. You push it out there because you just want them to wear and you feel good. That is your reward. Oh, he's wearing our traditional regalia. Oh, now the white man is wearing our traditional regalia. Oh, we should be happy. Those days are gone. That con game that used to play on us is gone. Where you have to expect them to validate anything that you do before you think it means something to you. So when some of you see this is a con game. When you see him putting on this and he's trying to now create this atmosphere that, oh, he belongs to you people, then you will be hoodwinked to think that, oh, the French ambassador has put on our traditional regalia. Oh, now our regalia means something now. Oh, we should be happy that we have seen a white man wearing our regalia. We should be happy and joyful that no, this is a con game. It's a sleeper cell game. Pretending to be you, but he's continuing to figure out how to manipulate people to continue the exploitation of their people. This is not going to fly this time around. We are a different generation. Don't play this con game with us. This is the 21st century. We are a different breed of people. Don't think you come and you don our regalia, because this is desecration of our regalia. because you are participating in the abuse and disregard for our culture and our people. You put it on and you think they'll take this photo and then people will think, oh, he's wearing our clothes. Oh, we should be happy. Go get the hell out of here. This is the game that have been pulling on us for all these centuries. Pretending to be part of you, or anywhere you think that, oh, now he's wearing a regalia, oh, we should be happy that he's wearing a regalia. Oh, our culture now means something. Come on, people, we're in the 21st century. Don't be conned, don't be fooled by this stupidity. Get out of this stupidity and let's find some backbone to be proud of who we are as a people. Know that foreigners who abuse you and have no respect for you, no regard for you people, will come and be the ones to put on this regalia and then make fun of it. They don't even have any respect for it, to continue to maintain your oppression, your subjugation, and your distance, how do you call it? They don't have any regard for your humanity. Comes and pretends. Let's go ahead and read this article. According to unverified report signed by the Corbett Factor, the Anglophone conflict will be resolved in months ahead. Look at the Thierry Méchan, the French ambassador to Cameroon. It is Ambazonia conflict. Fellow Ambazonians, there's something that has to be very clear. It's an issue of a statehood. We entered into this any form of sham. This is a state. Ambazonia was a functional state. Let's be very clear about that. Being speaking English is different from being us. To articulate English is not us. We are a distinct people. So we have to understand that the error or the mistake, the fallacy that they keep on making and thinking that, oh, because you speak English, you are part of the Anglophone people. No. Don't make that. We have a culture, a distinct culture. Fellow Amazonians, I always want to let our people understand. We took the Anglo-Saxon culture, the Anglo-Saxon when we call it that culture, and we carved something out for ourselves. We didn't copy it like for like. Our ancestors shaped what was good for our society. Go into the Anglo-Saxon system of governance. They don't have anything like the House of Chiefs. They don't have anything. The way our land, the power was structured within our territory. Everybody was involved in our land. We build from the perspective of integrity, respect, justice, accountability. That is what Ambazonia was built on. Our founding fathers put those blocks. Let me tell you something. Till today, I want to make one thing very clear to Ambazonians. If we have not been beaten, if we have not been assimilated, don't be fooled. Our founding fathers gave us something that could not easily be erased. 60 years that I put in Cameroon and its colonial master, France, tried to assimilate us. Small us like this, they couldn't. You know why? What our founding fathers put on the ground for us was not a copycat. It was carved. It was made. It was created. And that is what is still standing to today that we are fighting for. Let's be very clear. From the person. Let's see it for what it is. If there's anything in your country where you are not doing for us, put on the ground for us was not a copycat. It was carved. It was made. It was created. And that is what is still standing to today that we are fighting for. Let's be very clear about that. 60-something years and counting, they have not beaten us because it wasn't copy and paste. We created our own culture, our own institutions, our own society. Our founding fathers created that for us. We built and lived through that, even though they tried to desecrate it, they destroy it since the moment they set feet on our land. But we are still standing till today because we didn't just inherit something, we created something. And that's what is still keeping us going. Let's understand that. It's a matter of a statehood. We were a functional state. We had all the structures of a state before they hoodwink us. That's why it has become so difficult. Even the slave master's whip boy, he had to openly confess that he tried to assimilate us all these years. That was his project, but he failed. He failed. There's a story that I think it was in Rome, where one of the Anglophone cardinals was visiting. They had a conference in Rome for cardinals, and there was some sort of, I think, a senior French, or one of the French cardinals that came and met a bunch of bishops or cardinals. I think it was a conference on bishops, and he was asking them, how far have you gone with the assimilation project with the Anglophone section of the country? He was saying that, and the Anglophone bishop was there because they were all speaking French. He didn't know that he was there listening. This plot had not only been orchestrated by La République Cameroon, they are just executing it. It was orchestrated right in France. Let's not forget, let's put our eyes on the evil. What stands and keeps us in this predicament? France. But with the changing geopolitics, things are going to change. Let me continue with this. Let me continue with what I had in the face yeah. So according to this article, they are saying that the French ambassador to Cameroon is saying that the Anglophone conflict will be resolved in months ahead. He is stating it's not an Anglophone conflict, it's a matter of a statehood. Let's be very clear about that. It would appear the French are breaking cover in their colony, as their ambassador has hinted that the 8-year-old Anglophone conflict, which has claimed thousands of lives and displaced many more in Cameroon's 2 English-speaking regions, may soon come to an end. No, we are not region. We are Ambazonians. We are telling you who we are. Don't call us 2 English-speaking region. The game that they tried to pull from the onset was cutting us into 2 and pitching us together to fight each other. Because when you are divided, you cannot think straight to know that you are being abused. Why? At the same time, they had their machinery on trying to assimilate us. We were a region. There was never an issue of, before they even came, and even the first thing that Aejo came and did was to cut us into 2. They knew it was well planned to cut us into 2, then pitch us against each other. That was well executed. Don't think they were just trying to create Cameroon regions. No, they knew very well that if they kept us as one full entity, the agitation would have been great. So they had to cut us into 2 first, then pitch us against each other. All masterminded from France. So he is saying that what? the two English-speaking regions may soon come to an end. While the Republic Cameroon government has been asleep, it will appear the French have chosen to break cover and directly issue propaganda on behalf of their mentees. True. The real master, the evil genius behind all the killing of our people is now coming out because his puppeteer is not more functioning the way he wanted to. I mean, he's not functioning. There's no leeway. And besides that, they have seen, why did it happen recently? Because they have seen the push that the Ambazonian Governing Council is pushing at the diplomatic front. You know, they have seen the way we are moving. So now the real enemy from behind the curtains is coming out to stand in front of the stage to speak. That's the evil that we see. The report claims that they are the Corbett report or the Corbett factor. During his second visit to Bamenda on Thursday, February 27, 2025, Ambassador stated that France, along with the entire European Union, is working diligently to implement a political solution to bring the conflict to a satisfactory conclusion. It's a shame. What a shame and a disgrace. You have not held this man for over 8 years into account for locking up refugees. Someone that perpetrated international crime, picking up refugees from another country and bringing, you never raised a voice on that. And you come and you are talking to us. The audacity. Just to show some level of decency, they would have even made an open statement that release our people that they picked up from Nigeria and locked up. Those were refugees. And other international laws, you cannot do that. They have never said, they have never voiced out, made a voice or a single statement on that. But they come to talk to us how hard they are working. The European Union is just a bunch of liars, con men, thieves, go around the world robbing people. Well, with a change in the current geopolitics, they will have to bite the dust by themselves this time around. They have been leeching off from America, going around the world and robbing people dry while America foots the bill. Now you have to pay for the food that you eat. And I don't give you people, mind you, I don't see European Union as a unit standing for the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years. It will disintegrate. With the current geopolitics going on, the EU is going to disintegrate in the next 5 to 10 years. You come back after that and make reference to this video. So he is saying that it's working diligently to implement political solutions to bring the conflict to a satisfactory conclusion. The only political solution is we're talking about two states. Let's have a negotiated settlement where everybody goes to his own position. Why they are rushing and making all this is because of the changes in the geopolitical landscape. Because we have forces in this world where they can unilaterally declare that what is happening is evil. And that it has to come to an end. So they are trying to shortchange us by thinking that they can play this fast game to continue to benefit because they will not have anywhere in the world any source of resources globally. They are going to suffer from their evil that they have perpetrated globally. They have not been, I call it France in particular, has never been a constructive partner. They have been leeches and sucking up from everywhere that they lay their hands on. Their level of exploitation, particularly to the black race and Africa, is unimaginable. So why do you refrain from privileged details on the strategies being put in place by Cameroon's bilateral and multilateral partners? We're talking about, call it La République du Cameroon. We are not Cameroonians. It's very clear. We are not La République du Cameroon. We are Ambazonians. And you cannot want to resolve a conflict by talking to just one partner. No matter what front they are putting aside, there is nothing less than independent, total and unconditional independence of Ambazonia. Even if it needs the next 10 generations to fight for that, we'll keep on fighting. He emphasized that the conflict remains a Cameroon's issue, requiring locally handcrafted solutions. So what are you talking about that you people are fighting hard to resolve the problem? We are not Cameroonians. We are Ambazonians. You see, he still stressed on one thing, requiring locally crafted solutions. You know why? So that they can continue to bunch us and continue to exploit us. It's not a local problem. I will continue to make it international. It must be a diplomatic first for a foreign nation to implement a political project in a sovereign country, which has not previously hinted to borrow a word at any such intentions or movements. The report continues. Ambassador statement offers a glimmer of hope for a region that has been plagued by violence and instability. The fact that France and the European Union are committed to finding a peaceful solution into this conflict is a positive step towards ending the crisis. France has anything that concerns France is poison. Anything concerning France is poison. They have never led anything positive globally. Name one. France perpetuated an influence and instigation and egged on the genocide in Rwanda. They were a party to it. Let's be very clear about that. Nothing that comes from these people will ever mean good for our people. Their hands are deeply steeped in the genocide in Rwanda. France also perpetuated genocide in Cameroon on the Bamileke people. Let's call them for who they are. This comment must be directed at the General Ambassador's mentees, whose last diplomatic foray was to publicly humiliate the boss of global affairs, Canada, the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs, by disowning her announcement of outcome of Canadian facilitated talks about talks. In the sovereign nation's membership of foreign diplomatic missions to foreign women who reach out so far out for their mission will be on the next flight home before anyone could finish typing the words violation of their status. But the truth is the ambassador has a different status, since Liberia, Cameroon, and other African states are actually French colonies in all blur name. Canada tries to maintain diplomatic niceties and get burnt. The French break covers as colonial masters. What happened? Nothing yet. According to the report, the ambassador is also oblivious to the role of the French in creating and sustaining conditions that generated the crisis, as the French ambassador to Cameroon expressed optimism about France's role in reconciling the people of the two English-speaking regions after the conflict ended. Speaking to the press at the end of his working visit to the regional office of the Franco-Alliance Center at Bamenda, these so-called Franco-Alliance centers, these are, I call it what? Sleeper cells to continue their exploitation. Sleeper cells where they send their agents to continue to see how they can continue to suppress you. Sleeper cells where they send their agents to continue to look for areas where they can tap resources from your land. Don't you buy into all this nonsense called Franco Alliance. It's just like you're giving someone 10 francs and you are sucking out 100 francs from the person. Let's see it for what it is. If there's anything in your country where you are not deeply involved in it and you are not controlling it, no, it's from a foreign country like France, no, it's there for his own personal interests. He said he highlighted listen to what he said. He highlighted the rich cultural heritage of the Northwest region as a potential venue for reconciliation. No. The rich cultural heritage of Ambazonia. Don't come and play this dirty game and niceties on us. We are Ambazonians. You will not play the divide and rule policy. We have a rich heritage from the north to the southern region. So don't play this game. He's coming to think that to create a spirit of normalization. No. This is the grand master behind our predicament as a people. Yes, the French would seem to feel they are well placed to persuade their victims to reconcile. Yeah, we are their victims. Liberia Cameroon is using the methods the French used to set up the proxies when they carried out genocide against Liberia Cameroon independentists. Yeah, the Nobes and the Felix Wangis. A few months after they issued a report to those very proxies about the excesses of their colonial repression, They are co-victims of the French and their proxies. The UPC, the ambassador, is prancing around Bermuda in a local outfit. That's what I'm telling you. He has no regard for that clothes. He disregards our call. Those people who are doing this, that even gave him this thing to wear. You are the ones that are thanking your oppressors, thanking your colonizers for the abuse and more abuse that are giving you people. How you reward them for their abuse on you people is giving them your best. Your regalia, your traditional regalia. This is an insult to us that must come to a halt. The mental damage that colonialism caused on us, the low self-esteem, low self-worth that they implanted and imprinted on the black race. We have to stop this. This must come to a halt, a perpetual end. We have to stop doing this to ourselves as a people. As any Anglophone will know, the French proxies in Yaoundé failed in so many infrastructure promises, even when they promised to personally supervise those projects. What has they ever done that is true? So the French are now so fed up with their proxies that they are taking over and personally reconstructing as the report continues. The ambassador emphasized the crucial role the Franco-Analan Center would play in rebuilding the region in the north, in the months. We don't need you people. Look, like Republic of Cameroon, France, we don't need anything from you. Let us be. We have the human resources, we have the natural resources to rebuild our land. All we are saying is leave us alone, leave our land. Go away. You are leeches. France is a leech and a cancer. Wherever they lay their hands on. Instead, these centers exist in English. Listen to what he's saying. They are saying that the Franco-Analan Center does nothing, that they are not solely dedicated to promoting the French language and culture. We don't need French language and culture to be promoted in Ambazonia. Take it to La Republic of Cameroon. We don't need it. We don't need your culture and your language. We have our own Afrocentric cultures that we want to promote. The French culture has been very, very evil and painful across the African continent. We don't want it. That's why Kagame, after he took over his country, he drove everything French out, even the French culture, their cultural centers, he kicked them, he closed them out. Instead, these centers exist in English-speaking countries across Africa and work to promote that. Why is it only in Africa? Why is it not taking it to other parts of the world? Because they have seen Africa as their baby, their children. They have seen Africa as a child, to always play that paternalistic role on us. Try to lecture on us how to live, lecture on us how to sleep, lecture on us what to eat, lecture on us how many children we need to have. Who gave them that right? Where did they come from with that? We've taken this for too long as a people. And work to promote diverse cultures. We don't need them. Don't impose your diseased culture on us. We don't want it. Reflecting France's history of cultural diversity. What history does France have? Can we talk about the history of France in Africa and the pain that they have inflicted on our people? What history are we talking about here that the France is gonna this bona fide slave master is talking to us about? What have we as a race of people and as a collective benefited from the French culture? What? Is it pillage? Is it not pillaging of our land and our resources? Abuse? Why did you create the how do you call it? The accord, cooperation accord? Those are the things we inherited from France. Abuse, degeneracy. Now he goes further to say that, and so Ambazonia News finally learns that the French are nice. They are not promoting their language, and that they will solve this crisis in a few months, even though they have not bother to let anyone know. No, have their mentees in Yaoundé. They are just nice. 8 years have passed. Millions have been displaced. Thousands killed. Thousands of homes burned. Many children, including toddlers, in their way to school, killed by their mentees. Their bullets, their weapons, their guns. All that time, they kept their counsel, but they were nice all along. Now they are breaking cover to help and not promote their language. To help and not promoting the language. Finally, the ambassador opted sincerely to hint that the reasons for going out in a diplomatic limb, because now there is just no way. Your proxy, in its attempt to assimilate and destroy our culture, has not succeeded. A piece of our culture that you take and you put on your body, smiling, like a fattened cow. Then you talk to us. You think we are children? All we are saying in Ambazonia is that take your proxies out of our land. You are being booted out across Africa. You have been kicked out across Africa because of your evil. Look at how the 3 Sahel nations are breeding now. Look at how they are advanced economically. They have some pride, cultural pride. You stood there stifling everything, destroying their nation, exploiting their nation, promoting jihadism, promoting terrorism in their land. Then you pretend that you are fighting terrorism. Look at how they've reduced that thing to about 95% in their own countries by themselves. We see you for what you are. Listen to what he said. Mechan regretted the impact of the ongoing conflict in the French invest. Listen, people, my people, fellow Ambazonians, fellow Ambazonians. Let me tell you people what how these people see us. They see us like the goods for their investment. He regretted the impact of the ongoing conflict on French investments in the region. He's more interested in their investments, which has been severely affected by the 7-year-long Anglophone crisis. Not about the people that have been killed, but the French investment. It shows how sinister, vile, and evil the so-called nation France is. He is regretting their investment. This guy is regretting the loss of their investment, of the French investment. That is what's most important to him. He's not talking about regretting the loss of lives, but he's talking about their investment. Just listen. So that France misses their free land at looting Ambazonian resources. Good. Another irony is that the French interference in Canada is now being quoted as a case study for solving the Anglophone crisis, as they like to refer the Ambazonian liberation struggle, says the report. France's concern for minority welfare led them to advocate for a greater autonomy for Quebec in Canada. Today, residents of the French-speaking region proudly identify as Quebec nationals within a united Canada. This sense of identity is acknowledged by the Canadian government, as evident in the Prime Minister's recognition of Quebeciers as Quebec nationals. People, let's take a break here. Ambazonians, I don't want us to be hoodwinked into things that we need to have a deeper context and a deeper understanding of what we are doing and who we are. My people, anybody who brings in Quebec to liken it to our situation, my people, don't fall for that bullshit. Quebec exists as as a French entity within Canada. But let me make very clear, one thing that should be very clear to our people is this. Quebec had in 2 occasions voted as to whether to leave Canada and exist as a separate nation or to stay with Canada. They had that right to make that determination, and they voted. They made that decision by themselves. So if anybody is coming to tell you or talk to you about Quebec, don't get fooled. I want it to be very clear. Don't get fooled. They were never. I want to make it very clear. Quebec had the right to decide whether to stay with Canada or to leave Canada. They had that right. So if anybody comes and is telling you that, oh, Quebec is they're living as there's a bilingual, no, they had the right to choose in 2 referendums whether to remain in Canada or to be an independent country. Let me continue this article. So let's make it very clear. If Quebec are the Quebec people are with Canada, not under force, it's by their choice. They choose to be there. Let's be very clear about that. They choose to be there. Make no mistake. Don't be fooled. French, which does not want to promote the French language, went to safeguard the rights of the people of Quebec, including their right to French culture, coincidentally, including the French language. While Quebec enjoyed a distinct education system amongst other autonomies, the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, we are Ambazonians, please. The Ambazonians found themselves facing French-speaking teachers in their children's classrooms and have to travel to Yaoundé for the most mundane routine in life and the wiping of their identity when their identity was obliterated by renaming Cameroon to La République du Cameroon, the country which Southern Cameroon / Ambazonia joined to form a federation. And we had a statehood. We were a statehood before this sham scheme that was put on us. The Trojan horse was actually a misnomer, as it was the Greeks who brought it rather than the Trojans who were the dupes. This would be dupes in this episode. I mean, the would-be dupes in this episode would be the Ambazonians if they bring in the horse and beautify gifts from the Greeks. Sorry, the French. But Ambazonians are not Trojans, and the French are not as conniving as the ancient Greeks. They, Ambazonians, have seen enough of the French and know enough about the French and their mentees to fall for a smiling Frenchman just because he decided to disguise himself and claim to be trying to promote their culture while asking them to sit tight on a dispensation which has been running a scheme to obviate the same culture. Even if Ambazonians were gullible, there is no denying it. Okay. We are in the 21st century. We have to ask ourselves this question. Who gives France the right to play this paternalistic role on us as a race of people? What makes them feel so comfortable to think they can decide our destiny for us? The scam, the fraud that they are. Look, my people, gone are those days where we see fraudsters masquerading in front of us in our regalia, and we jump and we are looking at the visual and not knowing the mission. France is a cancer not only to Ambazonia but to the entire black race. Name me one place that these people have gone there and it has been good. The Grandmaster itself is coming out of behind the scenes. Ambazonia is gone. Nobody is going to determine the statehood of Ambazonia with Ambazonians. Look, with the current geopolitics that's taking place globally, why do you think they are running around and coming? The ambassador is coming to the north. We don't need them to determine or decide how we need to live. All these small things that they come and put around, we think that they are doing anything some good. No. It's just like someone giving you 10, like I said, 100 francs, but he's tapping out 10,000 from your land. The more reason why you see those guys fighting for the heart and soul of their nation, the Traorés, they are disbanding anything French in their territory. Those are seeds, sleeper cells, utilized in destabilizing and destroying their country. For too long, you saw them, the first things they did was when they took over their country to pull out everything French out of their land, because they saw where the problems were. We will not take our cherished and rich regalia and clothe our enemy, the master. We give him as a reward for his abuse on us. Whoever did that and gave that man our traditional cloth, you are desecrating our culture. That is the enemy you see standing in front of you. Our predicament as a people and as Ambazonians is being masterminded and pushed around, advanced by France. We have to see and call the enemy for what it is. If you cannot define and call your enemy, you will not know it. General Ivor, personally in meetings, told us how he battled the French soldiers in our territory. French mercenaries were fighting in Ambazonia in the early phases of the revolution, fighting to kill our fighters. In good instances, late General Ivor told us, I was fighting with white people. We're battling them in the battlefield. Those were French mercenaries. Then you come openly and you are pretending that you are doing something good to us. These same people, there is nowhere that these people lay. Tell me one good thing that these people have done to wherever they have found themselves. The current geopolitics is making the EU nations and France panic because things are shifting. The only thing I can give and the only message I can give to Ambazonians is this: let's keep on fighting. Fight on individual level as this revolution depended on you alone. You don't fight for me. You don't fight for anybody. You don't fight for Dr. Abacho. You fight for your nation. The AGOC is making serious push from within the US, the power broker globally. That is what is making them to panic. I want to ask you people, why is Norway locking up Dr. Abacho indefinitely? Those are the people that used to brand themselves as people, as champions of democracies, people with law that are law abiding. Why are they locking up somebody without a crime indefinitely. That's a crime against humanity. You are violating his rights as a person. It shows the racist nature of Europeans. Go deep into Norway, you see how they are abusing black people in Norway. This further exposes their mindset and their psyche. How can you lock up someone? What are you charging him for? And why are you keeping him there indefinitely? Ambazonians, we are not second fiddle in this world. We have a place and a space in this world to fight and act like any rational, normal human being. We are not second fiddles. We didn't come to this world to escort others. We have every right as a dignified people to fight for what rightfully belongs to us. Never in any way, shape, or form think you are a second fiddle anywhere. Never. To be a dignified human being is a birthright. It's a human right. You won't beg to live. You won't beg to breathe. Nobody. It's only the supreme being that created you that has that right. We fight for our land. We have been pushed out of our land for so many years. We are fighting to go back to our own land, our most cherished land. Never, ever think of giving up. Ambazonia is our land. We will fight to the last man standing. I will not allow this type of fraudsters to come and think they can push us back to sleep. We have seen enough and had enough of them. We have every legitimate right to fight for what rightfully belongs to us. Our land, our birthplace. Those people who came in as the usurpers, the fraudsters, the ones who came in to take advantage of situations, they have tapped out. Those who mean business and who fight for their people, when the rubber meets the road, they stand for their people. The egg of sea is the vanguard of this revolution, and we will keep fighting for Ambazonia until Ambazonia is free. Those who came in thinking it was going to be an easy ride, our president, through his lectures, prepped us. He asked us several times, are you ready to die for your country? Are you ready to fight for Ambazonia? He knew what it meant and what it would take. This is a battle for life, a battle for survival. And in no way, shape, or form are we going to give up. We never lose battles. Ambazonia never loses battles. We don't go to any battle to lose. This is a win battle, and we have the capability and the tenacity and the resilience to win this battle. There is no laziness in us. Let's give in our all. Even if it means us taking the last breath just to free Ambazonia, so be it. Our fighters on the ground has given their last breath, a lot of them, fighting and dying for the heart and soul of Ambazonia. All we can do to maintain their legacy is to keep on fighting. We are not scared of anybody or anything. People fight and die for something. The thing I can tell Ambazonians is that let's fight and die for our land. Let the future generation come and say, see your footprints, see your footsteps. And they say he walked here, he moved here, he passed here. All what they did was for us. Be ready to fight and give your all and die for Ambazonia. It is worth fighting for. No fraudster will come and try to determine our statehood for us. We will determine our statehood. And we are going to continue in the footsteps that our founding fathers left for us. Build on truth, accountability, justice, responsibility. That is why we survive. That's why you have survived throughout. That's why we are still standing. That's why we are still fighting. Remember always, our founding fathers gave us something that has to be cherished. And that is the only thing that keeps us breathing and fighting for. What makes us different from La Republic of Cameroon is because of what our founding fathers left for us. They are not like us. We are not like them. That's the clear distinction. Ask yourself, what are we fighting for? Why are we fighting? It is the foundation, the footprint that our founding fathers left for us. I keep on telling you and I challenge our people, it is not Anglo-Saxonism. It is something. I call it Ambazonianism. We created it. Our founding fathers created a system for us. And that solid foundation that they left for us, that's what has kept us going. That's what is still in us. That's what we found. That is what we are fighting for. If it wasn't worth dying for, we won't be fighting for it. The Republic of Cameroon sees it. They know they don't have it in them. We breathe life in La Republic of Cameroon. I'm not joking. We Ambazonians breathe life into that country. That's the possible reason why they don't want to leave. Let us go. We will go. They'll have to define their own pathway by themselves, by breaking away from their master. But we will go. Why do we fight? We are fighting for something that was created for us. Something so precious. They have tried to kill it. They talk of assimilate. Why would they try to assimilate us from? Something we got. You know what the difference between us and La Republic of Cameroon? Let me make one thing very clear to you, Ambazonians. The difference between us and La Republic of Cameroon is this. They are still weaved in the French system, the French exploitative system. We didn't take anything from the British. Our founding fathers left the house of Inugu and came and created our state. Let's be very clear about that. They didn't copy anything. They didn't copy things from Nigeria to come and superimpose on us. They created something for us. They built the structures and the institutions for us. They didn't go to Britain to copy it and come and put it and say this. No. They created our own institutions. Then they notified the Brits that this is what we are doing. We are self-governing. That is why it lasts. And that's why it is still today. The remnants are still there till today. Our founding fathers, created our own state. La Republic of Cameroon is being masterminded and controlled by France. That's why they don't have a solid foundation. That's why they can crumble. They are becoming a banana republic for nothing. Why we still have remnants of our statehood is because our founding fathers created it for us. Matching our geography, our culture, our topography, our everything. That is why have you ever sat as Amazonians and asked yourself, what makes us unique? What makes us distinct? Why are we different from them? Because we created a system for ourselves. Let's be clear about that. Our founding fathers created a system for ourselves. Something so rugged that for 60 years and counting, they have never broken it. They have never destroyed it. 60 years with their French colonial master and counting. And that is what is giving us the breath. We are grasping for breath. That is what we are fighting for. What our founding fathers created for us. But anything can crumble in a nation because they didn't create anything. It's handed down to them and dictated by France. It didn't fit a model. We created a model for ourselves. We created a model. That's why you look at our structures itself. Nobody told us to create a lot of chiefs as an institution within our government. It wasn't imposed from outside. Our founding fathers created it for us. The ministers that were existing, the ministries, the structures in place, our economic system and everything, they created it. Nobody imposed, we didn't copy it anywhere. They created it from us. That's what makes us so unique. Never forget that. Never forget that. I'm breaking down the difference between us and them. And when I say they are not like us, the Republic of Cameroon is not like us, these are the reasons. Our statehood was created by our founding fathers. Piecemeal, block by block, piece by piece. Theirs was written in France and handed down to them, being manipulated by France till today. That's what makes us different. They are not like us. We are not like them. And they will never be like us. Let's be clear about that. Fight for what our founding fathers created for us. It's so beautiful that we can never lose touch of it. When I use the word so beautiful, I use like Donald. So beautiful, so nice that nothing can surpass it. A country like Ghana has a strong institution because I believe they created their own state for themselves. Any state that they sit and build their own structures, it lasts. But the ones that they hand it over to them and impose it on them, not an organic system. Ambazonia had a governor that was more a government structure that was an organic system built from the soil from within us. The Republic of Cameroon system was handed over to them. They didn't care about the topography or whatever. There was a time where they were even supposed to be even appointing their chiefs for them. Can you imagine? They are not like us. We are not like them. We are natural. Our structures are natural, created from within. Theirs is handed down to them. That's why they never succeeded in assimilating us. They don't understand why. It's because of this difference that brought openly to you people. Ambazonians will fight for the heart and soul of our nation. We will fight for what our forefathers created for us. That's the best foundation that we have. A foundation of prosperity, freedom, dignity, integrity, accountability. That's what we are made of. Just a few that have been corrupted by the rotten system of the Banana Republic. But the heart, the core of who Ambazonia is, what Ambazonia was meant to be, is still there. And we'll fight to save that center, that core. They can't rob it from us. They tried, did everything. Bully, coerce, bribe, killed. They didn't succeed in taking that away from us. It is still there, shining. We have to fight to safeguard it, protect it, keep it, nurture it, grow it, and become a prosperous nation. Don't you lose sight of that. Don't you lose sight of that. It was, it is, and will always remain precious. No one makes you different from them. They are not like us. We are not like them. We came from an organic system. They came from a foreign system handed over to them. That makes us different and unique. They tried to destroy us. They never succeeded. They used guns, terrorism, genocide, experimental purposes. What did they do to us? Dismantle all our economic infrastructures. Anything that was meant to thrive, destroyed. Even to the very last financial institution created by Tasha, destroyed. Strategically, systematically. Cameroon Bank, our electrical system, our energy supply system, our water corporations, our banks, our industries. They shattered everything. But you know what they didn't take away from us? The statehood that our founding fathers created for us. That's what made us to be different from them. And they will never, never take away that from us. They are not like us. We are not like them. And will never be like them. Fellow Ambazonians, fight for what you truly deserve. Fight for prosperity. Fight for freedoms. Fight for accountability. Fight for dignity. Fight for your children. Fight for the future generation. Fight and leave a footprint where they'll come tomorrow and they'll ask, what did my ancestors do? Let your name be on the board. I fought tirelessly for you people. Don't lose sight of what our ancestors gave us. Keep fighting. Thank you.
France. C'est pas les États africains. Donc ça veut dire quoi? Quand le Gabon qui est ici, l'Asie commande le pétrole gabonais, le Gabon va envoyer les 206 millions de barils ici. Bonjour, monsieur chef d'État gabonais, c'est Chang. Oui, cargaison reçue, pétrole très bonne qualité, partenaire costaud, solide, fiable. Merci beaucoup, on a envoyé l'argent. Et c'est là où l'argent va faire comme ça, il va passer ici, directement. Béac. Les 30 milliards de dollars arrivent ici. Et c'est... Hein? Oui, c'est normal. Non, mais là, je vous ai mis le truc. L'Asie verse, la Chine qui est en Asie verse l'argent à la France. Les 30 milliards. Mais la France, c'est la BEAC, c'est la même chose. D'accord? Les 30 milliards, là, ils vont rester ici. Ils vont être déposés au Trésor français. Ensuite, la France va émettre l'équivalent en francs CFA pour le Gabon. Le Gabon ne touchera jamais $1. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a la garantie de convertibilité illimitée. C'est là. La convertibilité avec le franc français illimité. Donc tout ce qui va arriver, je sais même plus quel était, tout ce qui va arriver, tout ce qui doit arriver en Afrique francophone, tous les dollars, les yuans, les euros, les roubles s'arrêtent ici au Trésor français. La France va convertir maintenant pour nous envoyer des CFA. Mais les CFA qu'on a ici ne nous permettent d'aller acheter nulle part dans le monde. Même en France, le CFA que Paris nous a envoyé là est interdit. C'est interdit aux États-Unis, c'est interdit en Asie, c'est interdit en Europe, c'est interdit en Océanie, c'est interdit dans les autres États africains. Ce qui fait que tout ce qu'on veut acheter, qu'on soit gabonais, camerounais, congolais, ivoirien, etc., il faut toujours qu'on demande l'autorisation à Paris. Tu vas acheter des couveuses pour l'hôpital, il faut bien que le feignant là, qui est ici, te convertisse tes milliards de capsules de bière en dollars. Parce que eux là, ils n'acceptent que le dollar ou l'euro. Donc, comme toi, tu es bloqué dans les CFA, là, la création d'infrastructures dans ton pays dépend de qui? De la France. Ça ne dépend pas de la volonté de ton président. Tu es con ou quoi? On te dit qu'ici, il n'y a que des CFA, des capsules de bouteilles. Donc, tout ce que tu veux faire, tu dois demander l'autorisation ici. Ça, c'est le chemin de l'argent, les barres noires. Est-ce que vous comprenez maintenant? Donc, ça veut dire que Ondo Ossa, avec son costume bleu, blanc, rouge, là. Ça, là, il a signé, hein. Il a dit aux Français, non, moi, vous comprenez, vraiment, moi, je ne veux pas d'ennui. Voilà, je veux gouverner le... Bon, vous avez compris. Il est même allé à Paris, il dit qu'il y avait un coup d'État qui était en préparation. Et c'est pour ça que vous n'avez aucun développement économique dans la zone CFA. C'est pour ça que même en Côte d'Ivoire, les Ivoiriens, ils sont là, ils bavardent. Les premiers demandeurs d'asile en France, ce sont Ivoiriens. De toute l'Afrique subsaharienne, ces Ivoiriens qui sont là. Pourquoi? Parce que le développement qu'il y a dans nos pays, Sénégal, Côte d'Ivoire, ce sont des biens qui appartiennent aux Blancs. Les Noirs. Donc on va maintenant quitter. Est-ce que vous avez bien compris? Il faut remettre le chat, s'il te plaît, Soy Misty. Est-ce que vous avez parfaitement compris ce que je viens de vous expliquer là? C'est fondamental. Ça sert à rien d'aller vous exciter sur des chefs d'État. Vous pouvez mettre qui vous voulez. Qui vous voulez comme chef d'État ici. Tant que ce système-là n'est pas supprimé, c'est fini. Vous ne ferez rien. Je vais même vous dire jusqu'où ça va. C'est-à-dire, quand vous voyez un site internet, on dit oui, vraiment, il faut... Vous avez des sites où on vous demande de faire des dons pour l'Afrique. Tu as le bébé qui est sur l'épaule de sa maman, les deux sont tout maigres, il y a des mouches qui volent autour des yeux des bébés et tout. Oui. Agib va dire non, moi je suis ici au Canada. Non, attends, Bernadette, s'il te plaît, donne-moi ma bière là ici. Donne-moi ma carte bleue là, on va aider l'enfant là. C'est quoi ça? On est africain? Donc Agib va envoyer $150 canadiens. Ça vient des États-Unis, non? Ça a fait ça. Les dollars s'arrêtent ici. Ce qui va partir là, c'est francs CFA. Mais les dollars vont s'arrêter ici. C'est-à-dire que même les petits dons que vous faites pour aider la scolarité des petits, tout s'arrête à la France. Rien ne va en Afrique. Même quand tu décides que tu vas envoyer 100 € à ta mère qui est au village, les 100 € là, tu es ici en Europe, d'accord? En Allemagne. Tu as envoyé 100 € ici au village. Non, les euros s'arrêtent ici. La France maintenant va émettre un ordre d'émission de l'équivalent en CFA. Mais les euros se sont arrêtés ici. Cette zone-là est une zone d'exclusion économique. TikTok, est-ce que c'est clair pour vous? Vous mettez oui ou non? Ça, il faut comprendre. Là, je vous fais c'est-à-dire, on peut pas être on peut pas simplifier ça plus que ça. Et ce qu'apportent les briques, je termine, Judoka, s'il te plaît. Ce qu'apportent les briques, c'est ça. Attendez, je vais vous montrer. Merde, ça c'est des lives qu'on a fait. Ah, attendez, il faut que je trouve la vignette qui correspond au changement que les BRICS apportent. Voilà. Les BRICS apportent ça. Voilà la différence. L'Afrique est connectée monétairement à toutes les zones économiques du monde. Elle ne passe plus par la France. Vous comprenez ce qu'apportent les BRICS? Les BRICS permettent aux États africains d'être connectés directement avec leurs fournisseurs. On ne passe plus par la case France au milieu, là. Vous comprenez pourquoi les BRICS sont importants et pourquoi tous les pays du monde. Voilà, ça c'est la situation dans laquelle on est aujourd'hui. D'accord? Et ça, on supprime la case France. Et tant que nous n'aurons pas supprimé la case France, là, on sera pauvre parce que tout notre argent, c'est eux qui encaissent. Regardez, on ne peut pas sortir, parler à un autre pays sans passer par la France. Donc faites-moi des dons là, parce que je bug. C'est-à-dire, ce pays-là encaisse tout. L'argent qu'on envoie à la maman au village, les dons qu'on fait sur des sites internet pour aider à la construction des écoles, tout s'arrête ici. Tout. Et nous, les Africains, on est tellement bêtes qu'on pense qu'en dos au Sahara, Paul Biya peut pas s'attaquer à ça tout seul, c'est impossible. Pour vous attaquer à quelque chose comme ça, il vous faut un partenaire militaire puissant. Vous comprenez ce que je veux dire ou pas? Et c'est ça le problème de l'Afrique, c'est pas une histoire de détournement. Quand on vous dit que oui, on a retrouvé un ministre avec 4 milliards de francs CFA, même s'il avait 1000 milliards de francs CFA là, ça change quoi pour nous? On peut faire quoi avec? On peut aller nulle part dans le monde avec des milliards de francs CFA.
Ils ont essayé de nous impressionner avec des valises et des cantines de francs CFA, mais on s'en fout, ça. C'est pas de l'argent. C'est pas de l'argent.
On vous montre, oui, le ministre, mais c'est comme s'il avait 4 milliards de capsules de bière dans ses valises. Et encore même ça, c'est du fer. S'il part à l'étranger avec, il peut vendre ça au kilo. Hein. Ça a de la valeur. Mais des CFA, on va faire quoi? Même s'essuyer les fesses avec, les gens vont refuser à l'étranger. Donc, est-ce que vous comprenez le problème auquel... C'est ça le problème de l'Afrique. Hein. Notre absence d'infrastructure est liée à cette structuration monétaire imposée par la France. Maintenant, on va vous montrer d'où ça vient. D'accord? Et vous comprenez pourquoi on se moque de vous.
Welcome back to Izizi Africa Channel. Today we bring you groundbreaking news that will not only reshape the future of West Africa, but will resonate across the entire African continent. Buckle up, because what seemed like an impossible dream has transformed into a tangible reality. Let's dive into the extraordinary journey of West Africa's 3 visionary leaders and the birth of a new currency in West Africa. Nobody believed it could happen, but today the landscape of West Africa is changing. The presidents of Niger, General Chiani, Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, and Mali have finally defied expectations, making a historic decision to introduce a new currency in the Sahel region, a currency that promises not just economic stability, but a brighter future for all these countries. Fasten your seatbelts, friends. The much anticipated moment is here. The new currency is named the Sahel and is nothing short of incredible. 1 Sahel will be equal to 1,000 CFA francs, a true testament to the monumental shift happening in West Africa by these 3 visionary leaders.
Le franc CFA n'a plus sa place au Burkina Faso, au Mali, ni au Niger. Félicitations au capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta et Tiani qui ont réussi à changer la monnaie de leur pays. Une nouvelle monnaie sous le nom de Sahel vient de remplacer le franc CFA au Burkina Faso, au Mali et au Niger. Vous devez à présent noter qu'un Sahel aura la même valeur qu'un euro, c'est-à-dire un Sahel sera égal à 650 poussières en francs CFA. Les trois baobabs de l'Afrique, dont Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta et Abdul Rahman Tiani, ont fini par atteindre leur objectif qui était de changer le franc CFA en Sahel. Si tu es vraiment africain et que tu aimes l'action des trois baobabs de l'Afrique, ne quitte pas cette vidéo sans écrire vive l'Afrique en commentaire. N'oublie pas de t'abonner. Je te rappelle de mettre dans cette vidéo en favori car tu en auras vraiment besoin. Partage cette vidéo maximum si tu veux vraiment le bien-être de l'Afrique.
Welcome to ACN.